Two bell pepper plants are planted on the same day. They sit only a few feet apart in the same garden bed. They receive the same sunlight. They're watered from the same watering can. But a few weeks later, something surprising happens. One plant begins filling with peppers. Small green fruits appear, then more flowers follow. Soon the branches hold several peppers at once. The other plant looks healthy, but it produces only one or two peppers. After that, it slows down. Weeks pass, and nothing new appears. For many gardeners, this can feel confusing. Both plants looked the same in the beginning. Both were cared for the same way. So what changed? Strangely, the answer is often not about working harder in the garden. It is usually about a few small habits that quietly influence how the plant responds. And if this has happened in your own garden, you are not doing anything wrong. Many gardeners see the same pattern every season. Over the years, growers begin to notice that bell peppers follow certain signals. When those signals are right, the plant keeps producing. When they are missing, production slows down. The good news is that these signals are simple once you understand them. Before explaining why this happened, it helps to understand how a bell pepper plant actually grows and produces fruit. A bell pepper plant does not produce peppers just once. Instead, it moves through a repeating cycle. First, the plant grows leaves and branches. Then small flowers appear. After pollination, those flowers slowly turn into peppers. When the peppers mature, the plant often pauses for a short time before beginning the cycle again. Many gardeners expect peppers to grow continuously without rest. But plants work a little differently. They often produce in waves. You may see a cluster of flowers one week, a group of peppers the next. It's then a short quiet period while the plant gathers energy again. Understanding this rhythm can change how we care for peppers. When gardeners know the plant works in cycles, they become more patient. Instead of worrying during quiet weeks, they simply watch for the next round of flowers, and once the rhythm becomes clear, it is easier to help the plant continue that cycle for a much longer time. Some pepper plants can produce for months when conditions stay steady, but one common misunderstanding sometimes interrupts that rhythm without gardeners realizing it. Many gardeners treat pepper plants the same way they treat tomato plants. The two plants look similar at first glance, so it feels natural to care for them the same way. But peppers behave quite differently. Tomato plants often grow tall and fast. They respond well to heavy feeding and frequent pruning. Peppers, on the other hand, grow more slowly and prefer a steadier pace. When peppers are watered too heavily or fertilized too often, they sometimes focus on growing leaves instead of producing flowers. Another small habit involves pruning. Some gardeners remove too many branches, hoping the plant will grow stronger. But peppers often produce flowers on those very branches. Spacing can also play a quiet role. When plants are crowded together, they compete for light and airflow. None of these mistakes are serious. They're simply small habits that influence how the plant chooses to grow. And once gardeners notice these patterns, they can begin adjusting. One simple habit that makes a surprising difference. One of the most powerful signals a pepper plant receives happens during harvest. Many gardeners wait until peppers become large and fully colored before picking them. There is nothing wrong with this. A ripe red or yellow pepper is beautiful and flavorful, but something interesting happens when peppers are harvested earlier. When a plant keeps holding mature fruit for a long time, it sometimes slows down flower production. In a way, the plant believes its work is already complete. However, when peppers are picked while they are still green and firm, the plant often responds differently. It begins producing new flowers again. This small change sends a message to the plant that more fruit is needed. As a result, the flowering cycle can continue longer. Gardeners sometimes notice that once they begin harvesting earlier, new flowers appear sooner than expected. It is not a dramatic change overnight, but over several weeks, the difference becomes visible. Another quiet factor supporting steady pepper production lies beneath the surface of the soil. Many gardeners believe fertilizer is the main key to strong plants. And fertilizer can certainly help when soil is poor, but peppers often respond better to balanced soil than to heavy feeding. Healthy soil holds moisture gently and allows roots to breathe. It also contains organic matter that slowly releases nutrients. When soil becomes overloaded with fertilizer. Plants may grow tall and leafy, but produce fewer peppers. A gentle approach often works better. Compost, aged organic matter, and moderate feeding can create a stable environment for roots. Over time, healthy soil becomes like a quiet partner in the garden. It supports the plant without forcing rapid growth. This steady foundation allows pepper plants to focus their energy on flowers and fruit rather than just leaves. Above the soil. Another simple factor quietly influences how productive a pepper plant becomes. Many gardeners try to grow as many plants as possible in a small space. It is an understandable idea. More plants seem like they should produce more peppers. But when pepper plants grow too close together, they begin competing for sunlight and airflow. Leaves overlap. Moisture stays trapped longer after watering, and the lower parts of the plant may receive less light in these crowded conditions. Plants sometimes slow their flowering. Giving peppers a little more space can change the entire feeling of the plant. Air moves more easily between branches. Sunlight reaches more leaves. The plant becomes stronger and more balanced. Even a few extra inches between plants can allow each one to grow with less stress. And once the plant feels comfortable in its space, it often begins producing flowers again. But spacing and soil are only part of the story. Climate also plays a powerful role in how peppers grow. Bell peppers are warm season plants. They enjoy steady sunlight and moderate warmth. But different climates create very different growing experiences. In cooler regions, pepper plants may grow slowly at first. The early part of the season can feel quiet while temperatures remain mild. Yet once summer warmth arrives, those same plants may continue producing steadily for many weeks. In hotter regions, the opposite sometimes happens. Plants grow quickly in early warmth, producing a heavy harvest early in the season, but when temperatures become extremely hot, the plant may pause again. Flowers can drop during heat waves. Fruit production may slow temporarily. Neither situation is a problem. It is simply the plant adjusting to its environment. Gardeners who understand their local climate often learn to expect these patterns. And when the weather shifts again, the plant often resumes its natural rhythm. Sometimes the most surprising discovery comes after the first large harvest. Many gardeners collect several beautiful peppers at once. The plant looks strong and the harvest feels rewarding. But a few weeks later, something unexpected happens. The plant seems to slow down. Fewer flowers appear. New peppers stop forming at first glance. It may look as though the plant has finished for the season, but often the plant is simply resting after a heavy production cycle. During this quiet period, the plant rebuilds energy. Leaves continue collecting sunlight. Roots continue drawing water and nutrients. Then, slowly, small buds begin forming again. The key is patience. When gardeners avoid making sudden changes during this resting period, the plant often surprises them with another round of flowers. These small cycles are easy to miss if we expect constant production every week. One final caution can help. Keep pepper plants comfortable throughout the season. Sometimes our desire to help plants grow leads us to do a little too much extra fertilizer. Frequent pruning or constant watering can unintentionally create stress. Peppers prefer balance. Soil that stays lightly moist is usually better than soil that swings between very dry and very wet. Pruning should remain gentle, removing only damaged or crowded branches when needed, and fertilizer should support growth rather than push it too quickly. When care becomes simple and steady, pepper plants often respond with stronger roots and healthier flowers. Over time, many gardeners discover that successful pepper growing is less about constant action and more about observation. When we watch the plant carefully, it often tells us what it needs. Leaves droop slightly when water is needed. Flowers appear when the plant feels ready. Growth slows when the plant is resting. If you're comfortable sharing, I'm curious how often you water your pepper plants during the summer season. Every garden is a little different, and hearing how other gardeners care for their plants can be helpful for everyone watching. In the end, The real secret to growing peppers all season is surprisingly simple. Healthy soil, comfortable spacing, thoughtful harvesting, patience with the plant's natural rhythm can make a quiet but powerful difference. Peppers are not plants that need constant correction. They respond best to steady conditions and gentle observation. When gardeners begin working with the plant instead of pushing it, something interesting happens. The garden begins to feel calmer, and often, harvest becomes larger than expected. Sometimes the garden improves when we simply step back and observe.